Hello and welcome to another Hysteria Rapid Response. I'm your host, Erin Ryan, and with me today is friend of Hysteria, Suzanne Lambert. Hello.
Hi, so happy to be back. I love Hysteria.
I love that you're back. You look so cute.
Oh, stop. So do you. And on a Monday, no less.
Oh, thanks. I'm wearing a blazer. It's a business blazer. So we've got two stories we're going to talk about today. I'll start with mine, and then Suzanne, you brought one too, so we'll take turns. I'm going to start with mine. It's about hantavirus. Okay. So as the Andean variant of the hantavirus has sort of been making its way through an entire cruise ship worth of adventure travelers that live all around the world, and it's got a 40% kill rate, it's kind of hard not to feel anxious about this virus, even though we keep getting assured over and over again by public health officials that we probably shouldn't be worrying. And luckily, America has a steady hand at the helm of its hantavirus response. Dr. Brian Christine, listen to his calming words delivered to press near the Nebraska facility where quarantined Americans are currently being isolated. Let's listen.
Our approach is grounded in science, it's grounded in coordination, and it's grounded in transparency. This is a whole of government effort across federal, state, and local partners who are all working together to ensure the safety of the American people. And let me be clear. Let me be crystal clear. The risk of hantavirus to the general public remains very, very low. The Andes variant of this virus does not spread easily, and it requires prolonged close contact with someone who is already symptomatic. Even so, we have taken this situation very seriously from the very start. We've taken it seriously across HHS, and particularly through the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And I'm proud to see many of my U.S. Public Health Service officers have been actively engaged in the response.
He sounds like, a public health official delivering a message, but perhaps he doesn't have the exact skill set that we would want during these COVID lockdown flashbacks that I think we're all collectively having. Because Dr. Brian Christine, while he is he's a medical doctor, he's not an infectious disease expert. He's something else. Let's take a look at the other clip.
I received a call from a patient the other day to tell me about this new proven treatment that he was undergoing for his erectile dysfunction. This had cost him $3,000 cash out of pocket and was being offered by an unscrupulous physician who wasn't even a men's sexual health expert. I'm Dr. Brian Christine, and this is my fellow, Dr. Chris Graziano.
On this edition of the Erection Connection, we're going to touch on alternative treatments that you may encounter as you seek treatment for your erectile dysfunction or Peyronie's disease.
Wait, there's a logo. Look, the Erection Connection. That's right. The guy in charge of America's hantavirus response is an Alabama-based penile implant expert. Yeah.
I can't get over the logo, the branding, the slogan, the rhyming.
I mean, you know that they had like multiple versions. They were like, okay, we're going to have a graphic designer make us something. Here's A, B, C. And they had a meeting where they're like, which one do you like best? And then they agreed, we want the circle one.
Yes. People sat down at a table to discuss this. I'm so curious what the other options might have been.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad it's subtle. It's classy. It could have been kind of goofy, but I like that they went with something that was a little bit down the middle. All right. Well, Christine has been working for the Trump administration since last year, but CNN's K-File did some digging into his past and found that while he was making sure that the dongs of Birmingham are ramrod straight, he was also spouting conspiracy theories about COVID and George Soros. He is like a certified Facebook uncle whack job just in his set of beliefs. In addition to being the face of the nation's hantavirus response, he's an assistant secretary of health. And that means he's responsible for, and I'm paraphrasing CNN here, women's health, family planning. And he's in charge of the U.S. Public Health Service, which is a group of public health officers who get dispensed to different areas that are having public health emergencies. And as head of the U.S. Public Health Service, he's a 4-star admiral, which is why he's dressed like a cruise ship captain.
I was wondering if that was really on the nose or if there was a specific reason why he was dressed like Skipper from Gilligan's Island.
Right. And I get it. I get that he's wearing the uniform for his job. But I think given the cruise ship of this pandemic, maybe is there an alt uniform that you can wear when you don't want to be reminding people of infection on the high seas? But that answers that question. So Why can't we get the Admiral a shirt that fits? That's my first question for you, Suzanne.
I did notice that. Now, I do have to think that being a penile implant specialist, being in the MAGA administration, he's exactly where he needs to be. I mean, I feel like he should just kind of stay doing that. There has to be a lot of willing customers who need his assistance, I would imagine.
Yeah, dick expert. Are you, I mean, going away from making fun of how he's dressed, because whatever, he was, the messaging that he gave at the Nebraska appearance that we first watched was like, fine. It was middle of the road, calm down, public health official, fine. But are you anxious or worried that we have a urologist in charge of infectious disease response?
Very much so. I mean, if any of us have had any kind of experience with a doctor, if you go to a specialist and it's not their specialty, the first thing that they say is you need to go to a doctor who has that specialty. Like any doctor will tell you that. So I feel real nervous, especially knowing that he is somewhat of a conspiracy theorist.
Why is he in charge of women's health? That's not penis implants are not women's health related.
They're certainly not. It would be great if they would maybe put someone who actually did care about women's health at the helm of all of this. But I mean, we know that they don't actually care about that. Maybe he thinks that, you know, penile specialties pertain to women as well. I don't really understand that logic at all.
I mean, do you think that his former co-host of the Erection Connection is lonely now that they're not hosting the show together?
Yeah, because it's not much of a connection without someone else. Maybe they changed the name to like the penile profile. That still kind of has a fun ring to it, right?
Yeah. I'm so curious. Like, I'm so curious how, I know that this is like serious and we're laughing because penises, ha ha ha. But it brings to mind this like really serious problem, which is that it seems like so many people in the Trump administration that are in positions where they should be experts are actually sort of like haphazardly thrown together guys that Trump met golfing one time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like they all, and I mean, we know that to be true, right? So many people have gotten their positions from sucking up to him the most or giving him the most money. And it seems deliberate, especially in areas where they're overseeing health, like RFK Jr., for example, that they are avid deniers of the things that we know to make Americans healthier. It kind of feels like he's playing in all of our faces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, make America hard again, I guess, is the new. That's Maha. Since we're gonna let them dump forever chemicals in the water, maybe Maha can now make America hard again because we've got the dick guy in office to help with that.
Yeah, forever chemicals, PFAS, the meat is not being checked the way that it should be anymore. I mean, I can't think of one instance in which I feel safer or healthier since Trump has taken office, truly.
Well, maybe you're just not thinking positively enough, Suzanne.
That's true. It all goes back to positive thinking, really.
It does. Positive thinking, not having food dyes, doing pull-ups in jeans, cold plunges with Kid Rock. That's health.
Thoughts and prayers. How long do you think it is before RFK Jr. does the watermelon challenge? Have you seen the watermelon challenge for the American Heart Association?
What is it?
So it's a nice cause. It's men are crushing watermelons between their thighs to raise money for the American Heart Association. But in doing so, they're raising awareness for how women are actually at much greater risk for different cardiac events because the symptoms for women materialize much differently than men. And I haven't seen an elected official do it yet. And I kind of wish one would, just so that the first one is not RFK, because I just have a feeling it's going to be him.
Oh, God. Wait. The connection between like crushing a watermelon between your thighs and women's heart health is that women would see it and be like, oh, my stars, this is wonderful. Like, what are they? What's the connection?
Yeah, and that's kind of what's happening. Yeah, it makes people stop and scroll, and it's a good cause with a side of thirst, which I can get behind. And it's really just nice to see men talking about women's health, and if it takes them having to crush a watermelon to do it, a win is a win, I guess.
Absolutely. You know what? You should tag Dr. Brian Christine in the next watermelon challenge post that you see, because maybe he can redirect his attention to something. I feel like a watermelon in the between the thighs is closer to his area of expertise than a rodent-borne infection that is native to the Andes.
Yes, maybe we just have him focus on that and go viral, and then someone can quietly fill in his seat. Literally anyone else who's more qualified, and it doesn't seem like that would be hard to find.
No, it doesn't. All right, Suzanne, let's move on to your story. What do you have?
Yes, so I want to talk about Jared Polis, the Colorado governor, commuted the sentence of election denier and tamperer Tina Peters this past Friday, and she will be paroled on June 1st. Now, the good news about this is it's the most united I've seen the Democratic Party in a long time. The unfortunate news is that people are united in fury because Tina Peters is known for her concerted efforts to leak secure election data and claim that the 2020 election was stolen. She was county clerk in Mesa County, Colorado. And in 2021, she allowed an unauthorized person, Conan Hayes, to access election equipment and data, which was later leaked online. And Conan Hayes, side note, is a former professional surfer and election conspiracy theorist.
Okay, wait. A Colorado-based professional surfer?
He is not based in Colorado.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, he flew in.
Like, I mean, that's like eating sushi in Iowa, buddy. Like, what's going on?
Which wouldn't recommend
if
you've ever done that.
Don't do it.
I did make that mistake in a landlocked state. Never again. So in 2024, she was convicted on multiple state charges and was given a sentence of 9 years in prison. And I cannot emphasize enough that at her own trial, the judge sentencing her said, "You lie as easily as you breathe." He said she was defiant as a defendant as the court had ever seen, and that he believed she would do it all over again if she had the chance.
Mm-hmm.
So Governor Polis reduced her sentence almost in half, and she will now be paroled on June 1st. Now, people had an idea that this was coming because on March 3rd, Polis basically soft launched it on Twitter. He compared Tina Peters to a different person who had committed a similar crime but got a much lesser sentence. So we had an idea that this was coming. And we know that Trump had been pressuring him to release her. And Trump's only reaction so far to her being released was writing "Free Tina" in all caps on Truth Social.
How do we know that doesn't mean that he has somebody named Tina that he is offering up to his friends for free?
I mean, right, because I'm like, well, she is getting freed, so that doesn't seem like a post to post at that time, but who knows what he's doing on there. Now, Polis's reasoning in commuting her sentence basically is that her sentencing was too harsh as a first-time offender, but here's what really gets me. Polis himself said that he made his decision without any expectation that Colorado would be rewarded in return. It would be one thing, if Trump was going to restore some of the budget cuts that are largely suspected to be a punishment for not releasing her. He killed a water pipeline. He moved the Space Command headquarters to Alabama. He dismantled a federal climate center in Boulder. And Jared Polis's response to a lot of the buzz was, he said, "It's not a crime in our country to believe the earth is flat. It's not a crime to believe voting machines are flawed."
Okay, but that's not what she went to jail for.
Right. She didn't go to jail for a belief. She went to jail for giving an ID of someone who did work there to a former professional surfer to pretend he was an employee and gain access. And what really gets me about all of it, especially having interviewed him, and he told me in the interview that he runs his own socials, he has posted and deleted his statement on the matter on his social media 3 times now.
Oh my gosh.
Because he was getting ratioed so badly in the comments. Well, I have to imagine that's why he did it. He has deleted and reposted now the same thing 3 different times.
Oh, when you're in the middle of a shitstorm, and I'm sure you know this, Suzanne, sometimes it's best to just close the computer and walk away and don't come back for 48 hours. Because once it's underway, if you engage with it at all, it just gathers steam. You can't do that.
And then deleting it makes it look way worse, especially if you delete it and then you just keep reposting it and then it just keeps getting pushed into people's feeds. So people are rewriting all of their hate comments. It's just bizarre. I don't understand why he would choose this to be remembered as his legacy with 6 months left in office.
Yeah, that is puzzling. I read a little bit about this case because my first response was to be kind of pissed about it too. And I read a piece on Mother Jones that was this was the right decision. There's a couple people whose opinions I usually respect or can at least give an honest audience to because I know that they're operating in good faith. And I can kind of see the point that some of her supporters have made that are not Republican MAGA people, that a 9-year sentence is pretty harsh. Like, this is a 70-year-old woman. I mean, not that people who are 70 don't belong in jail, because some of them definitely do. But like, you know, I can see the case for reducing her sentence. What I think is a little bit bothersome to me is, were there other people that have also been over sentenced in Colorado that the governor could have commuted the sentences of, that maybe got passed over because he was focusing on this?
Yeah, and that's funny you mentioned that, because he mentioned other people whose sentences he's commuted in that post. And he also said that more are coming, I think, maybe to get ahead of some of those concerns like you just mentioned. Yeah, and I read the Mother Jones piece too. And I do think it kind of showed a fair view of, okay, well, it was likely to maybe be overturned anyway based on some other appeals courts in Colorado, right? I just think that how he went about it in terms of managing public perception could not have been worse.
Yeah. And I do see what he's trying to do when he talks about the free speech issue, because I guess during one of her trials, the judge kept talking about her things she was saying, things that she had expressed. And that kind of like gift wrapped an excuse for a Democrat to like commute her sentence and say it was because of free speech, because the judge in her trial was talking about that. But like, I mean, whatever, Monday morning quarterbacking here. But I think that maybe if he would have just been like, this process was flawed, everybody deserves a fair process, and so I'm going to commute her sentence because the process, I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. I wish he didn't say things like, you're allowed to believe the earth is flat and that voting machines are flawed, because that's so reductive. I think he absolutely could have emphasized more that she's a first-time nonviolent offender, right? Especially given some of the things that the judge had said at her trial. That judge went really hard.
Yeah, the judge did go really hard.
I think a little too hard.
I think sometimes judges get a little bit like in their hairbrush about things. You know what I mean? Like they're like yelling at someone in the mirror as they're getting ready in the morning, but then they just do it in court. And it's kind of like, whoa, dial it back a little bit, bud.
And that's what I do in the mornings, but I am not a judge who's meant to be impartial and fair.
You'd
right?
be a really funny judge though, Suzanne. Like,
I appreciate that. I think you're right.
I think Suzanne's court would be very funny, because people would come in and like within 5 seconds they'd know what you were about to do, and they just have to listen to whatever was coming. It would be really funny. I would.
You know what? I'm going to pitch that concept. Yeah. And I mean, she said some really wacky things at the trial. At one point she said, which I do love a diva with standards. She said that she had health problems that couldn't be accommodated in prison, such as her need for a magnetic mattress. She called herself a child of God and said God doesn't like messing with her kids. She rambled for like 40 minutes to the judge. So there's no shortage of just like off the wall quotes there. But I just feel like if I were Governor Polis, I'm like, you have 6 months left in office. If you want to do something out of pocket to ruffle some feathers on your way out, he's a huge Swiftie. I don't know if you know that. Declare it Taylor Swift Day in Colorado or something. Like, just do something like that if you're really feeling like you want to make the most of your 6 months left and you're maybe not afraid to cause some unpopular reactions.
Yeah, and I think that maybe as part of her sentence, she should be banned from using Facebook. I feel like if she's not allowed to go on social media, maybe eventually like the fog will lift and she'll just kind of be, and even if it doesn't, she'll just be yelling her nonsense to nobody instead of an audience of indeterminate numbers of people.
Well, she's already on X saying that she hopes to use her voice to talk about election fairness, which terrifies me personally.
Oh my God.
Because who knows what she means by that, right?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Do you think he made the right decision?
I think like in my head, I was weighing two things. Like one, like I kind of I'm mildly pro prison abolition. Like I think that there should be way fewer people in prison. And if somebody is not violent and not a threat to society, they shouldn't be in jail. So on one hand, that. But on the other hand, what she did was very treacherous and bad. And to not have someone be punished for that sets a very bad precedent. But the no prisons thing won out. I'm like, you know what? I don't think that this woman needs to be locked up and incarcerated. I think having to go through a trial is a huge inconvenience. I think that she's been through a lot. She seems like baddie, but I think that like as Democrats, maybe we don't want to be on the side of keep the 70-year-old lady in jail when she just did this one bad thing the one time.
Yeah, that's a fair take. I do wish that she wasn't allowed on social media. And at the very least, I hope she can never hold any kind of office or position with the government ever again.
Yeah, that would be worrisome. I think that should also be part of the like release package. Is like just don't run. You can't run for office. You can't work for the government.
Although honestly, I would not be surprised if Trump gave her some kind of position. I hate to say it. If it's within his means, I mean, look at the track record of him. First of all,
Yeah, it depends. Like how many zeros in a check would she write to Donald Trump? Because I think that would be the determining factor about whether or not she got an appointment.
Oh, that's true. I don't know that county clerk salaries are necessarily
writing
big figure bills.
No, probably not. Well, TBD. We'll see what is up next for Tina Peters. A show on Fox News, a Daily Wire podcast. We'll see. Suzanne Lambert, thank you so much for joining me for this rapid response, and see you again soon.
Thanks for having me, Erin.